So we're getting started with the Dean Russo style portrait. Here is my example. Here's one of his artworks that we've been looking at. So at this point, you should have the printout of the animal you wanted to draw your portrait of. So this is a red wolf. It's an endangered species. What we need to do before we can get on to painting or anything like that is we need to figure out our contour lines, because if you look at Dean's artwork, you can see he has all these black lines that actually show us the features and the shape of the animal. And then inside the lines are all these crazy colors that are not realistic, but the black lines are realistic, and that's how we know what animal we're looking at. If you look at my example, you can see I outlined all the different shapes and wrinkles and details of this dog using black. So we're going to do that. So you have your portrait, your photo reference that you're using. Oh, before we start that, so here you can see some examples of contour line. It's just outlining all the important parts and details. There's no shading or any color or anything. It's just outlining. You have to make sure you capture enough detail so you can tell what the animal is and that you've actually got its most important features. Like the elephant, the wrinkles on the trunk, that's a really important part of an elephant that makes it look like an elephant. So you want to make sure you get that. With the tiger, the stripes are a really important part of the tiger that make it look like a tiger. So you want to make sure you include those, okay? So here's my red wolf. You're going to take a colorful marker. You want one that you can see that'll stand out from the paper really well. So I'm going to use this green marker. And I'm going to start with the simple parts of this, just the main outline. And the wolf is furry, so I'm not going to draw a straight line. I'm going to draw like a little jagged line to show the fur. Around the ear, it's smoother, so I'm not going to draw a jagged line there. The top of the head gets a jaggedy line. And then another ear. You can go slower than this. I'm going fast just to make a shorter demo video. So there's the outline in green, but now what do I do with the rest of it? It's easy to figure out, like the eyes. You're going to outline the details of the eyes. I'm just looking for important features that give it detail and what make it look like a wolf. If the edge is fuzzy, like this little eyebrow ridge here, I'm going to give it like a fuzzy line. If it's a straight line, I'm going to go ahead and give it like a nice clean straight outline. Like the eye, it's going to get a bold, clean outline. But the little furry eyebrow thing above is going to get a fuzzy line. I want to have enough detail to really capture what the wolf looks like, but I'm definitely not trying to like include every single hair or anything like that. So down here around the nose, I'm going to start by outlining the whole thing, and then I'm going to look for details inside. Got the nostrils, so I'm going to make those, I'm going to color those in black. You can have a select few areas that are actually colored in black on your project to make sure they stand out. I got his mouth here. I'm going to put some little dots to kind of show where the whiskers are, and I'm going to include some whiskers. They're a little bit fuzzy in the picture, but I'm going to include a few because I know they're there and they're kind of important. And I'm going to put a little bit of hair texture to show this darker area. Now, areas like this is where it gets a little tricky, like the edge of the nose. We know the wolf has like a snout, but there's not like a clear outline there. So I'm just going to look and see where I can sort of see where the edge of the nose might be, and I'm just going to go ahead and give it a line. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now, it's hard to see where the head is, and where the head meets the neck. So again, I'm just going to look at the patterns in the fur and give it like a little furry outline. to show that. He's got these kind of like little wrinkles up here on his forehead, making him look very serious. I'm going to add some lines there. I want to have a distinction between the ear and the head, so I'm going to put a border there, and I can see a edge there right here. The ears are a little tricky. It's really dark in there, so I'm going to actually color that area in deep inside the ear, but then I'm going to give some little fur lines to show the furriness inside the ear. So basically you're just outlining and adding little bits of texture lines in the most important areas. And I'm trying to capture a nice amount of detail. If your picture is super fuzzy or doesn't have a lot of detail, you might want to pick a different picture. I think I'm getting close to having enough detail in my contour drawing, but I'm going to add a bit more fur texture, just because the fur is such an important part of the wolf. I don't want to have not enough furriness going on in my portrait. Here's another example that I did, the tiger. So I definitely traced over all the stripes. That's the most important, most recognizable thing about a tiger. Outline the eyes, outline the edge of the nose, snout, I guess, and then the nose itself I outlined. I colored the nostrils in black, got some little spots for the whiskers, put a line where the ears separate from the head, a fuzzy outline around the head and around the chin. More stripes down here, some whiskers. Okay, so 2 examples of creating a contour line drawing out of a photo.